Hey there, good people. It's your Crippled Critic, and this week I'm going to do something a little different. And instead of it being a review, really, it's going to be more of a rant, and it's going to be about Mortal Kombat 11, the newest Mortal Kombat. So the reason I didn't want to do my normal style, my normal format for this was for Mortal Kombat, specifically Mortal Kombat 11. I didn't want to do my normal format because with my reviews, I try to be very unbiased and give my opinion about a game, but focus on the accessibility options with just a little bit about the gameplay and the story and stuff like that. But I felt like if I did that with Mortal Kombat 11, it would be disingenuous somehow, like I would go easy on the game or just rail on it. So I just wanted to give my unfiltered opinion and thoughts about Mortal Kombat 11. So I want to preface this by saying that I love the Mortal Kombat franchise. I always have. I've played, the first and second game on the Super Nintendo. Those were like my first memories of video games, was playing Mortal Kombat and Super Mario. Those were the two games I remember most when I was 5 years old. Mortal Kombat was a game that I played, one of the only games my mother played with me and my sister, like, we loved it, and even then, she understood, even though it was very violent, that, like, playing with us was, like, okay, and it showed that she understood we were mature enough to understand the difference between reality and, like, fantasy. But yeah, like, I played it for a long time. I loved Deception. Mortal Kombat Deception was one of my favorite games of all time. I pre-ordered Mortal Kombat X. I pre-ordered Mortal Kombat 11. I love this franchise, and I want to see it succeed and do better because I know it can do better. So when I say some negative things about this game, I want you to know that I'm saying it out of love. All that being said, let's get into it. So, Mortal Kombat 11 has a lot of problems, and I'm really concerned for the franchise as a whole because of Mortal Kombat 11, but what I really want to focus on is the fact that they made easy fatalities put behind a paywall, and that is very bad. For those who don't know, fatalities were something they had in Mortal Kombat series from the very beginning in the first game. They're essentially finishing combos you can do after you defeated someone in a match through a series of inputs. You have to press a series of buttons very fast in order to do them, but once you do, it's just a crazy display of carnage and blood and gore, and looks really cool if you're into that, which I am, and it's always been something a lot of fans love. I definitely love them. I mean, they're fun and gross, and they give your win that little bit extra just to, like, pound it in to say that you kicked their ass, and that's really cool. You annihilated them. Just to remind people, in case you didn't know, I have a physical disability where my muscles get weaker. I can't move my arms and legs, and my hand has limited movement. I have fine motor skill impairments. But I remember that with the first two Mortal Kombat games, I was actually able to perform some fatalities based on, like, some of the simpler combos, and that was great. Over the years, some of the fatalities have gotten harder and harder to perform for me, as all games really have gotten more complicated. But around 2015, when Mortal Kombat X came out, they introduced something called easy fatalities. So yeah, in Mortal Kombat X, if you wanted to do a fatality, instead of having to press like 5 or 6 buttons in a row to finish the combo, you could do an easy fatality and only have to press 2 buttons, usually like the back trigger in X or the back trigger in circle. And yeah, it was easy and doable, a lot easier for disabled gamers. I could actually do them again, and it was so much fun. I felt like I was finally on a level playing field with my able-bodied counterparts, By the way, Mortal Kombat X completely changed fighting games like forever. Like, the genre was changed. Like, the bar was raised, not just with this mechanic, but the story mode in a fighting game was never really thought to be that important until Mortal Kombat X. They put like hours and hours into that story, made it interesting, and kind of had like a comic book feel to it. They added so many great accessibility options in Mortal Kombat X, like the ability to turn on audio cues so that blind people could know where they are on screen. And some of that is stuff that a lot of people probably don't even know exists. But yeah, Mortal Kombat X was a great game in so many ways, and really just improved everything about Mortal Kombat. But that's what makes Mortal Kombat 11 and their really terrible decision to do what they did with Easy Fatalities so much worse, because I played Mortal Kombat 11 and I was like, okay, cool, they brought back Easy Fatalities. Then I was horrified to realize they put it behind the paywall. Real money, actual money you have to use to get Easy Fatalities, which is so like twisted, because they're essentially putting accessibility options for disabled gamers behind the paywall. It's like insanity. Like, able-bodied players can do this fine and don't have to pay anything. They can do it. And for us, we have to pay money? What? Now, Mortal Kombat X did have something similar where you could buy Easy Fatalities with real money, but you also had the ability to earn some of them. Like, you could go in the crypt and find some Easy Fatality tokens. I think you could earn them in the towers too, and a certain amount you could get in the story mode after you beat it. Like, you had some you could use. It wasn't just real money you had to use to get it. You could earn it. You could earn these fatalities. But in Mortal Kombat 11, no, there's no way to earn them. You have to buy them. Like, completely penalizing disabled gamers for something they kind of need to do it, but they have to pay. Just really sick and twisted. Just another way for them to get more money for a game that already has like so many bad microtransactions in it. And yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. So really quick, I did want to talk about sort of why Easy Fatalities were even put in to begin with, and what fatalities do depending on who's doing them and how it affects different gamers, because I think there's a lot of misinformation about it out there. I know even big name YouTubers like Angry Joe kind of said, like, I don't even know why Easy Fatalities are in there. Nobody uses them. But that's just not true. I've also heard a lot of weird defenses against getting rid of Easy Fatalities altogether, because they're somehow thought to be unfair for able-bodied gamers, so I did want to talk about that. So first, fatalities are basically cinematic flourishes. You know, they're reward for winning the match, and you do them by doing complicated combos, but they're really a reward for winning. And that's the thing, you can only do fatalities after you've won a match. So they're not affecting any other player. You don't get an unfair advantage, because the only way you can do them is if you win. So Easy Fatalities are optional. If you wanted to do the complicated combo in order to do a regular fatality, you can still do that. It doesn't affect any other player. It doesn't give anyone an unfair advantage. So really, that argument doesn't hold up to me. Second, and this is the more confusing thing, is that no one really understood the reason Easy Fatalities were put in. It's actually kind of hard to find information about why they were put in and what the developer's intention was. Basically, the overall consensus for why they're there from the general public is, they're put in for like noobs, you know, not to be confused with Noob Saibot, but noobs, like basic gamers who don't want to put the time and effort into learning combos and just want to take the easy way out. That's the idea that people have about Easy Fatalities, but that's not true. I just looked it up. I looked up Ed Boon, the creative director of Mortal Kombat. There's some really interesting tweets he said about this, and I'll go into that. Here, let me go look it up, what he said. Actually, it wasn't a tweet. I think it was from a live stream, him talking about Mortal Kombat X. It's actually really funny. The reason he gives is super funny and terrible, and you'll get to kind of see what they're thinking behind the scenes, but let me look it up. Alright, why Mortal Kombat X has easy fatalities. Here's his reason, all caps. There are players who cannot do fatalities, especially when it says finish him. And there's a timer counting down. That's part of what prompted us to make these easy fatalities before MKX launched. We did research and had focus groups play the game, and easy fatalities was the #1 request. Having them helps everyone in that group. It's for people who will never be able to do a fatality. Do you see that? Never be able to do a fatality. Who will never experience doing fatalities in MK, Mortal Kombat. Wow. So you see that they're admitting it's for people who can't do fatalities, like us, disabled gamers. And wow, that is some master manipulation there, because if you really think about it, he's like using us, he's using disabled gamers as like a defense. Like, hey guys, don't, come at me for putting these in here because we're trying to help disabled people play our game. Aren't we great? Like, aren't we so progressive and really nice, thinking of the little man, thinking of people who can't play the game the way they want to, but then turning right around and making it so those same gamers have to pay to do this while everyone else can just do it for free? What the hell? It's insanity. Not cool, Ed Boon. Not cool at all. And I'm actually kind of surprised no one noticed that he kind of did this and he used disabled people as a defense. And it's crazy because, like I said before, Mortal Kombat X had some really good accessibility options that weren't behind the paywall. So, there is some self-awareness to it, but I don't know. It's like, again, in Mortal Kombat X, there was a paywall to some degree, but you could also earn the easy fatalities, and that's why I didn't care as much. You could still get them without having to pay, but not anymore. Now that's gone. It's unnecessary. It doesn't need to be that way, and that's why I'm just so concerned that they're going to keep doing that, and I wish they would reconsider. By the way, the price for these easy fatality tokens has gotten up over the years too. That's something that I don't know if everyone knows, but let me show you. Mortal Kombat X. In Mortal Kombat X, you could pay $1 for 5 easy fatalities, or $5 for 30. Yeah, they raised it, and you can't quite tell here because they're pretty slick, and they just say, oh, you need, time crystals, because they have these insane, currencies within the game. But I'll tell you that I'm pretty sure now it's $1 for each, crystal. So, basically, to get 10, you need $10. It's much worse. Much worse. Now, it's not getting better, it's getting worse. But I mean, Mortal Kombat 11 has a lot of problems, and I didn't want people to think I wasn't concerned about those as well. I mean, Mortal Kombat 11 has a lot of terrible microtransactions, things like 6 different types of currencies that are meant to confuse the player, to make them spend money on stupid things, or make you, grind for hundreds of hours just to get one piece of one outfit for a character you don't even play as, because there's no way of knowing how you're going to get certain items that you want. And all that is equally as terrible. I really hate to see Mortal Kombat go down that mobile gaming route that's just designed to keep you playing for insane amounts of time and trick you into thinking you're actually progressing in some way. The always online thing is like a joke to me. Yeah, I should talk about that. Mortal Kombat 11 is always online, so just like Street Fighter 5, which I know was done in a way to accommodate competitive playing and kind of focus the series on that. I'll be perfectly honest and say I don't play competitively. That's not why I play Mortal Kombat or any fighting game. I don't really play online that much. I play for the story, I play to fight with my friends, and to just get better within the game, and yeah, so I don't play for that reason. But I don't understand why that should matter. I don't understand why it needed to be online always. Oh, I definitely say that when you are not online, when you don't have internet, you try to access Mortal Kombat, all of your items that you've quote-unquote earned are gone. You can't use them. And I know that because recently I tried taking my PlayStation 4 over to a friend's house to play Mortal Kombat 11. Just, to play with my friend. And, I couldn't access any of the items I earned. So, even if I say, decide to buy those terrible easy fatality tokens, just to use them, just so I could play with them, I couldn't access them unless I was online, and my friend didn't have internet, so there was no way to use them. So there's another just really baffling design choice. So one other thing, I know that a lot of gamers are not happy about the supposed desexualization of the female characters in Mortal Kombat 11, and also I've heard a lot of controversy about some of the character endings. I guess the individual character endings, like for Jax, and how it kind of changed a lot of their backstory. I don't really have the passion for those topics. I don't think they're as important, to be honest. But I do think if we're going to talk about character designs in Mortal Kombat 11, I think not enough people are talking about just how uninspired they are in general. And it really says a lot to me about where they want to take Mortal Kombat, and that's concerning. What I mean is, right off the bat, I was worried when I saw the poster for Mortal Kombat 11, because I just noticed immediately that it didn't evoke any kind of horror at all. The cover had Scorpion, who is kind of the new face of the franchise. Scorpion and Sub-Zero are what people think of, and I always thought of Scorpion as a demonic ninja. This really grotesque looking scary creature who's now just kind of a normal bland human ninja, and that was weird. This isn't new technically. They've been sort of pushing him towards his human counterpart since he was human at one point, but you could change his outfit and change the way he looked in Mortal Kombat X. He didn't have to look like anything. And, they really try to say that in this game they're giving us so much player choice to change our outfits and change every little bit, except that they're put behind these really obnoxious microtransactions and grinding for hundreds of hours. So the game is really designed to limit the player, and that's really sad. But yeah, there's Scorpion. Cassie Cage looks almost identical to her mom now. There's no personality in her. Everything is just very crisp and clean overall, and it's got almost this shiny superhero feel, more like it's Injustice 3 instead of a Mortal Kombat game. And I don't know, I get the feeling, dare I say, that they feel almost embarrassed by the history of Mortal Kombat, and the fact that it really did start as horror, horrific blood, is what made it stand out from the other fighting games. And yes, there are still fatalities, but you just get the idea that it's going for more of a clean look and feel, and I don't know why I don't think it's a good idea. But okay, I don't want to just say negative things. There are some really good things in this game. I want to give it some credit. I actually think the core gameplay of the combat is good still. I actually think their idea to sort of switch up the X-ray moves, I think they're called fatal combos now. Now they're harder to do, they don't happen as easily. You have to kind of wait for your health to go down. There's not really a bar. And I think that was a good idea to kind of make those moves less cheap. I think it's still fun when you do get to fight just people one-on-one, fighting one-on-one is still very fun. Some designs are really cool, like Scarlet. She's my favorite. Like, I know she was technically in Mortal Kombat 9, but she's so different now, she might as well be a new character. Just really badass, like, creepy. Like, I used to joke with my boyfriend when I saw her originally, like, she's like a bloodbender, you know, ripping, but like a crazy R-rated bloodbender who, like, rips blood out of people and uses it as a weapon to fight them. Like, that's really cool. Oh yeah, I cannot forget about Kano. He is in top form in Mortal Kombat 11. I mean, you look at him, he's this, like, burly bear. Always been a fan favorite, you know, this Australian badass with attitude, and I really think it's becoming more obvious that developers are at least aware of, like, the gay kink community, and they're kind of showcasing it with Kano just because of its design. I mean, you look at these, you know, new outfits, and there's a reason you're seeing all these memes online of Kano being this gay icon, because he looks like a gay litter daddy, and that's awesome. You know, it's really cool. Us gay guys, you know, we love him. We love the design. We always have, but it's neat to see them kind of playing with that, and I do appreciate that. That's another really awesome and fun example of improvement. Noob Saibot's new design, you know, he's now this, like, undead, possessed samurai. That's creepy, you know, it reminds me of Kenshi, you know, the blind guy, and that's great. You know, I want kind of more of that horror in the game, because that's definitely creepy, and that's really fun. You know, there are good things in this game, but just so many bad design choices that really hinder the experience are there. And listen, I'm not unreasonable. I totally understand that the things like aesthetics, the game's overall look, can't be changed. It's not something you can just fix. It is something you can maybe think about in the future, but what I'm more concerned about, one that I think can change with an update, is the fact that accessibility options are put behind a paywall. Easy fatalities being behind real money is just not good. It's a bad idea, and I wish they would change it. Please stop putting easy fatalities behind a paywall. I say all this as a big fan. I say it with love because I know that the series can do better. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching this. I know it's more of a rant, but, you know, I tweeted Ed Boon. I kind of wanted to at least get some feedback. I didn't hear anything back, so that's why I did this video. I wanted to kind of get my feelings out about this game, and you guys tell me what you think. You know, do you agree? What do you think about easy fatalities? And what do you think of the game overall? Let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, guys, thanks again for watching. Hopefully they'll do something better with Mortal Kombat in the future, but until then, here's this video, and I will see you guys later.